Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Bat here. Hope you're doing well. So, I want to dance with somebody. Maybe one day, or maybe not. Who knows? But the new movie about Whitney Houston's life, the famous singer from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, especially in the 80s and 90s, very popular, has one of the most unique careers in music, one of the best careers in music, was in one of the more high-profile 90s films with Kevin Costner, one of the first African Americans to sing at the national anthem. They even created a show, The Voice, based on Whitney Houston because of her voice was the most unique voice in music. No one has ever been able to top her. She had more wins and billboards than even Elvis. And, this was one of those movies I wasn't sure because the marketing really didn't do that much. I mean, they didn't even have a trailer until in the middle of the fall. And I'm like, that's interesting. I mean, you made a movie on Whitney Houston. You think that would be let's, try and get this movie on everyone's radar. But, I like musical biofilms. Yes, sometimes they can be repetitive, which I don't understand that. No person has the same career as everyone else. I mean, there might be a little bit here and there, but when you keep having the same, beat for beat for beat, in every musical biofilm, you gotta go. Is there a certain template that, okay, check that off, we did that, oh, she rises to fame, or he rises to fame, okay, then they have a stumbling block with drugs, okay, then they find their way back and are successful again, okay, and then maybe they die, okay. I mean, it's kind of a cliche, if you will. People, complain about Marvel movies or comic book movies having the same, the hero gets his power, the hero rises, the hero has a stumbling block, hero gets the girl, hero, meets the villain at the end, ooh, yay, and the end. And people argue superhero films are all the same. No and yes. No, yes. Depending on what movies you watch. But lately, musical biofilms have also gone down that route. I mean, I liked earlier this year Elvis with Austin Butler. I thought that was a very good movie. I don't think it was, great, but I do think it's one of the better ones. I think that movie should have been a little bit shorter. I think the stuff with Tom Hanks, narrating and some of that stuff could have been cut out or trimmed. But overall, I like the movie. I like what Baz Luhrmann did. He brought his unique style to that film. He made it his own. Even if he still has some of the, some of the same beats as in other musical biofilms. It still has also some interesting stuff that I never knew about Elvis. I never knew that Elvis didn't really like Christmas. And which is, like I said, which was always funny to me, because every year I would listen to Elvis Christmas music. Even this year, in my car, I would listen to Elvis's CD of his Christmas album, and I would start laughing and go, I know in real life he actually hated doing this, but something about this is also really funny. But, that's something I never knew about Elvis. And there was also stuff that Baz Luhrmann did that made it unique. Like taking some of Elvis' songs and doing a remix of them, like Hound Dog, or the one near the end, White men say only fools rush. Yeah, that one, Russian. They had the Casey Graves do kind of like her own mix on that, and it worked. So, that I thought was really good. Had a few minor issues. But then this movie, I Want to Dance with Somebody, same studio that did Bohemian Rhapsody, Sony, same writers who wrote the script for Bohemian Rhapsody wrote this movie. And I like Bohemian Rhapsody too. I think that also has some interesting ideas and unique things that a lot of people didn't like that movie. I liked it. So I went into what I wanted to do with them, the way going, okay, the same people behind Bohemian Rhapsody, you have a female director, they're giving her a female voice to one of the biggest female musicians, singers out there. This should be good. You got Naomi Ackie, he's only known for Star Wars right now. But you got like Stanley Tucci in here. Who doesn't like Stanley Tucci? I mean, The Devil Wears Prada. Captain America, the First Avenger. I can go on and on. Hunger Games. So, let's get into it. Mainly the main positive with this movie is Naomi Ackie does a very good job playing Whitney Houston. She does not sing the music. I just want to tell you that right now. Naomi Ackie does not sing the songs. That is 100% Whitney Houston's voice singing the songs. Unlike Elvis, where they did have Austin Butler sing most of the songs and put a little bit of Elvis's mouth talking, singing in there, and then kind of like a Frankenstein mixture of Austin Butler and Elvis together, which you can't tell who's who, because Austin Butler does sound like Elvis. So, and this isn't like a Walk the Line where Joaquin Phoenix actually sung his own songs, which he doesn't sound like Johnny Cash. I was going to say John Nash. That's a different person. But it worked for that film. But I thought Naomi Ackie, outside of the singing, and other than the dramatic moments, the romances, just stuff like that, I thought she did a good job. Even though she doesn't look like she doesn't really look like Whitney Houston at all either. As the movie goes along, they kind of do makeup and stuff to make it look like more of the old, I don't want to say older, but more like the late 90s, early 2000s Whitney Houston. And then of course Stanley Tucci. I thought Stanley Tucci as the manager of Whitney, Clive Davis. I thought he did a good job. I don't know Clive Davis in real life, so I don't know if Stanley Tucci actually portrayed him the right way or not. I'm just going by the performance, and I thought Stanley Tucci did a good job. And that's about it when it comes to the positives. When it comes to the negatives, we're going to get into the negatives. This movie is very, very bland. There's nothing, there's some funny moments, but overall this movie has no real life to it. You would think a movie about Whitney Houston, it would be fun, energized, some personality to it. There's nothing. This movie feels like a 2.5 hour montage of every moment in Whitney Houston's career. But the only problem is, that's fine to do that, kind of like Elvis, but then there's the part where you gotta go, slow down, stop, if you have to, and let's dive into the character. Let's dive into this human being. Where is she? What is her thought process? Why did she... Other than hearing this song that maybe Dolly Parton sung, and she's like, hey, I can do my take on that. Okay. I Will Always Love You. That was a Dolly Parton song. Okay? Now one of the most famous songs, but we think of Whitney Houston singing it for the movie The Bodyguard. And I'm going to get into that too. But there's no, like, even when you watch Elvis, you understand some of the music he chose to sing because of his background, maybe with the African American community, whether it's with, his love with his wife, Maria Presley. You understood, or even in Walk the Line with Johnny Cash, you understood when he was in prison, he wrote a song about Folsom Prison. He drinking whiskey and smoking them cigars, and I thought I had it coming, and they can't drag me down. But that train keeps moving down on the San Antonio. That's my singing, Simon Cowell. I'm still out there. I want to go to Hollywood, whether my film or my music. I'm waiting. But this one just is bland. And like I said, it's just a montage. Like, I could have made this movie, and they just wanted a montage of Whitney Houston's greatest, her moments in her life. I've made a lot of highlight films, montages. I could have done this. And you would think with someone like a Whitney Houston, they would explore some of this stuff. They would explore her becoming one of the first African American women to, be chosen to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Very big deal. You think they would have chose, like they wanted her to be in The Bodyguard. And that was actually a funny moment in the movie. She reads the script and she's like, nope. She tosses it aside, and then Clive Davis is like, well, and then Whitney is like, who's playing the bodyguard? Kevin Costner. She grabs the script. Oh. And then she goes, I'll do it. Kevin Costner wants me? I'm in. That was kind of a funny moment. I mean, if Kevin Costner wants you, you do what Kevin Costner wants you to do. And then her winning her Grammy nominations. Her Grammy win. And then they literally built a show on TV. Not American Idol, but The Voice. The Voice. That is basically about, because of Whitney Houston's voice was so unique and one of the best ever in the music business, they literally created a show because of her nickname, The Voice. So, I'm like, okay, you have all these milestones in Whitney Houston's career, and you touch on all of them. But then you mean, this would have been a perfect movie to escape the normal biofilm, beat for beat, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, because that's all in their career. Even though it's like all the other musicians that we've made movies about. Number one, Whitney Houston had a friend named Robin. Robin and her actually were like lesbian lovers. They kind of explore that in the movie, but they kind of don't. That right there would have been a very unique in terms of character to explore this romance that her family did not want her to pursue because of her image and being a celebrity. That would have been a very interesting dilemma, character moment, character arc in the movie. And that could have been fleshed out throughout the movie. This lesbian romance that never really happened, but never really happened because of the family, because of the media, because of her image rising in the music industry. That right there should have been your main cornerstone of the entire movie. This lesbian romance. Now, we don't see in musical movies. Kind of saw that in Bohemian Rhapsody with Freddie Mercury, but still, not on this level. So that should have been the main through line from beginning to end. Number one. I said you got these certain milestones in this movie. You pick three, and you focus, almost like the movie Steve Jobs with Michael Fassbender, directed by Aaron Sorkin. No, written by Aaron Sorkin, directed by Danny Boyle. You, just like that movie, you had three stories, three different times in Steve Jobs' life where he was bringing out a new technology he created. I think one was in the 80s, one in the late 90s, and then late 90s and then 2000s, somewhere around there. But that's how the movie was three separate, kind of like their own short films, but in one larger film. You could have had a movie with Whitney Houston that would have been different from all the other musical biofilms. And this is how you do it. First part. Once again, you still have the through line with Robin. There are all three. First part. Focus on her, rising, getting noticed, having her first major song. I think that was I Want to Dance with Somebody. Hence the title of the movie, which they barely even touch on in the movie. That's the first part. Second part, her getting to do the national anthem at the Super Bowl. That was a huge deal in the mid-90s. Focus an entire part on that. Then deciding on her, how the media reacts, good people that like it, people that don't like it, the family, even her mentally finding out she's going to sing at the Super Bowl. Focus on that in the second part. And then, another story. They want you to be in the movie The Bodyguard. So focus on that part of her. Trying to get into acting and being an actress. And working with Kevin Costner. And making the movie within the movie. That's another milestone. And then you wanted to add a fourth, her Grammy win. Her winning the Grammy. In the 2000s or whatever she made, or whatever, Because that would be interesting. And also, with The Bodyguard, Kevin Costner. Now, that's another thing. I'm not ever going to bring in Kevin Costner in this movie. They don't. They just have archival footage from the movie The Bodyguard showing Kevin Costner. What you could have done, if you went with my idea, you could have cast someone to play the younger Kevin Costner. I don't know. Who could play the young Kevin Costner from 1994's The Bodyguard? I think there's an actor out there. I could swear every Sunday recently I've been seeing a younger Kevin Costner on screen. What show am I thinking of? And what actor am I thinking of? Oh yeah, Yellowstone. Kevin Costner. John Dutton. And who plays the younger John Dutton in the flashbacks? Oh yeah, Josh Lucas. I forgot. How thoughtless of me. There you go. Could have brought in Josh Lucas to play the young Kevin Costner and had actually showed scenes of the making of The Bodyguard, and that could have been another milestone, a little separate short film, if you will, in this longer story. Not only that, but since The Bodyguard, let's get back to The Bodyguard. Since Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston had such a good, great relationship, not just making that movie, but off screen, Kevin Costner spoke at her funeral, gave a long, very long speech at Whitney Houston's funeral in 2012. I don't know about you, I don't know how many celebrities go to someone's funeral and give a long speech on someone that dies, If anyone, one actor is an actor and one is a musician, singer. Like the pieces were there. The pieces were there. Someone out there in Hollywood should have had a brain and said, we're going to do this way. This part where she has her first number one song, her with the national anthem, her on the set of The Bodyguard, and then her winning her Grammy or whatever. And then we're going to close it out and have her, die. And we're going to end it with Kevin Costner and her friend Robin giving a speech at the funeral. Done. That should have been your movie. It would have been different from the normal bio template, meat for meat. It would have brought in stuff we haven't seen in these bio films. National anthem. Football. And her working on the film set, which they kind of touched on in Elvis, when Elvis working, being an actor, when that was just a quick little montage. You could have actually had a main focus on that. And then her winning her Grammy. Something a little bit different, unique, but still focusing on the main highlights of Whitney Houston's career, her life. And had the lesbian romance as the through line. That's your movie. Now why can I think of that when you Hollywood people can't? I don't know. You make money, I don't. That's the bottom line. So overall, I would give this a 3.5 out of 5. I was hoping for something much bigger, better, but this is not the biofilm of the year. That would be Elvis. And that's it. I mean, Whitney Houston is one of the most iconic singers out there, ever. So, very disappointing in this film.